Alrighty. Welcome to Airbrush Down and Dirty Tricks. It is a Friday evening special edition. I am just trying to get a few things set up here on the Facebook side so they can see me as well. And we will get this shindig going. Turn off that picture. What's up, Paul? Paul, did you get your panel? Okay, good. All right. Pickles the Carney, Steve Leahy is in the house. Can everyone hear me? Let's see. Okay, I got Richard Voss is watching. Okay, so anyone on the Facebook side, make sure you click that link. You'll get over to the YouTube side. That's where you'll get the nice high quality feed. I believe it's at my house now. Still on the ship. I'll be home in 9 days. Very cool, man. Very cool. All right. So let me tell you what we got going on here tonight. We have, let me just get my cameras and stuff set up here. We're going to be doing this guy. Well, this guy. There we go. Oh, there we go. Always got to remember how this thing's always reversed. So, for those who didn't see it, last week was the Airbrush Art Circus, so that was down at Coast Airbrush in Anaheim, California. Great event, great time, and some great students. Can't say enough. So this was the Lumalore panel project we did. I should have a power supply here, but I don't. So it was a really cool thing, and it was the first time I actually did SAY Ahh in class, and I figured since it was really next up in line on my board, I would do a variation of it here, and just kind of go from there. One of the other projects we did, which was awesome, and you probably saw the preliminaries and the concepts, was this bad boy. So this was a great project, awesome lesson. We did this over the course of a day and a half, almost 2 days. And it was a really cool exercise, really challenging because it worked on a dark surface, so you had to paint in light instead of painting all the dark shadows. So it's definitely a flip for a lot of people, but it came out great. I will definitely plan some type of downloadable project for this down the road. But for right now, it's just going to stay as the Art Circus panel project for at least a little bit. But it was real fun. It was real fun to do. So figured I'd share it. All right, let's see who we got on here tonight. So sound should be good. Hopefully everyone's got good sound. I'm going to adjust my chair. And let's see what we got here. Let's see who's here. So we got Paul, we got Pickles the Carney, Steve Leahy, Lee Jordan, the nameless subscriber, Paul, Dennis. Got a few people here. I know it's a Friday night. Most people have better things to do. And Max Thrasher. What do you mean can't see change camera? Oh, for you guys on Facebook, you won't see that stuff because it's only a single cam. So Facebook, there's a shot of that. You can probably see that there. And that was the one right there. But if you go over to the YouTube side, you will see the all the cameras that switch. YouTube is a much better platform for this, so I'm switching everything over to there. So definitely click that link and head on over. All right, let's see what we got going on here tonight, kids. Like I said, this is what we're going to do. This is SAY Ahh, if anyone follow along. And we'll eventually treat this like a how-to. So I'm going to eventually edit these all down into shorter videos instead of these long videos. We'll get that done. And we're going to go from there. So let's get this shindig started. So once again, this is Airbrush Down and Dirty Tricks. This is the Pack of Skulls series SAY Ahh. We're going to get right into this. We're keeping this whole series. I'm going to keep it. I know we talked about doing some different colors last week. I'm going to keep it all in black and white just because I want this panel to have continuity, but I will add different things into it. So what I am going to do this time, which is similar to what we did in class, is I'm going to add this honeycomb pattern to it, which is something I cut out of Mylar with my plotter. And if you have a Cricut or something like that, you can do that as well. So I'll show you how to integrate a stencil into a stencil. And okay, there you go, man. Max, you made it over. Cool. Thank you for coming over. Much better quality over here. So, let us get down to it. We are going to start this off. Let's bring over the other camera here. We got you, 3/4 cam, and we got a straight on shot. You know, you might see some stuff on screen a little bit, but I did want to zoom out a little bit and just kind of show you. Today, we are working for the first time with the Visionaire system, which is a new easel setup. Super strong. This thing doesn't go anywhere. It's going to be really great. Fully adjustable. If I loosen everything up, I can, you know, put the whole thing up and down. Really good. You know, I'm just going to keep everything in camera frame, tighten it down. I'm going to do some more videos on this unit, but I really just got this hooked up, and it's looking good. I'm going to get that camera back into where it was. We got our paint right here, airbrush right here, ready to go. And that little crossbar from the camera settings will eventually go away. But I just wanted to kind of show you that. So let's see what we got here. Okay, clear. Michael Stanton, how you doing, buddy? Name is Skyler. Can anyone here tell me what 5601 Spaceman? So 5601, that is basically like, I think I did a quick video on that. So it's basically, you put it down like on a t-shirt of fabric first to seal up the nap. I usually put it down as kind of a ground coat, and then you could use like a heat gun or heat press and go from there. So, and if it's, I think that's the 5601. If not, if just regular transparent base, it's really just base coat without color. And I believe it's compatible with both systems. Okay. If, you know, research give you mixed answers, don't do Facebook. Go right onto their site. It goes over right there, and I believe we did a video on that. Okay. I think they did a video on the Cratex Colors page. So don't listen to a lot of stuff on Facebook. Half of it's wrong, or half of it's, you know, what used to work and no longer works on newer stuff. All right, let's get started. So these are ones we did before. You saw the first two videos. We have Head Down, and we have Say What. And now we're going to go to Say Ah. Okay, so these are done. These have been coated. Just to be safe, we're going to protect these out. Just a little piece of paper here. Tape it down. Keep it clean. Now I can do some little testing and things like that. All right. The other thing I wanted to talk to tonight that I just got, because I got it from the circus, because they finally came in. These are the new fisheye filter minnows. These are badass. So you guys probably seen larger fisheye filters. I have them on my compressors. So they're basically an inline filter, moisture trap, but these trap everything. Any oils, any contaminants, any moisture, any water. And unlike other ones that have been in the market, well, nothing's really been for airbrush like this. But other similar items, basically when they got filled up, they would desiccate. If they got too much moisture in them, they would just let moisture blow by. These shut off 100%, meaning if they get saturated with water or oil or chemical or contaminants, they basically fill up to the point where they won't let any air through, so you'll never get anything at the brush. So we've always had them for the compressor side or inlines at the bench mount, but now they made one for an airbrush, which is nice, just for that extra insurance. So we're going to give it a whirl tonight. With the quick connect, it does make it a little long in the stack, but it's really, really nice. If you're not doing a quick connect, you know, it'll sit right up there, and it's no longer than a quick connect. So we're just going to give her a shot. So, okay, so this is white. We're not going to use that on white because you won't see it. And I did take this is my older Micron CMSB, and I did put the new Takumi small cup on it, because they are interchangeable. This is the Takumi small cup. And then this is the Takumi itself with larger cup. This one I have black mixed in it. I'm going to turn my pressure down a little too high. And that's why I'm getting a little bit of just kind of shoddy spray off to the side. Here we go. Maybe reduce a little more, but I think we're good to go here. Lee Jordan, I was looking at the Visionaire last week at the Airbrush get together we had in the UK. That was there showing. Oh, that's awesome, man. Dell's great, man. He's really thought up a great system. And the cool thing is about it, and we've talked quite a bit, is, you know, yes, he has a lot of pre-made stuff, and a lot of there's a lot of pre-made like easels and the big setups. But the best thing about it, it's so interchangeable with a whole ton of different pieces and options that if it doesn't already have something set up for what you're looking for, you don't really have to wait for this big contraption to be made, because it's like, I don't know, when I was a kid we played with erector sets, which was the metal things you screw together. You can basically buy all the components independently and basically build whatever setup fits your needs, whether it's big easel, small, something to hold, whatever. So it's a really, really great system. I'm really stoked to have it and be working with it. And, for me, I'm a bit of a collector when anything comes out, so I got to have all the pieces. So eventually I'm just going to get all the pieces because I need them. I'll find a use for them. Because I do paint so many different things. That's what's nice. It has the guitar holders. It has skateboard holders, helmet holders, gas tank, motorcycle parts, anything. I know he's working on some other holders right now for some other items that are widely painted in this industry. And he'll be showing you that soon. So let's show you what we got going on. So I got this honeycomb pattern. When I did this one at the Airbrush Art Circus, it has this honeycomb pattern. I had a smaller one there. We also used the Trulers, the scales and stuff, so that worked out really cool. So I want to do a variation of this. I'm just going to use bigger hexagons because that's all I had pre-made. And so whenever you're using a stencil with a stencil, it's pretty simple. So first things first, we have our SAY Ahh skull template from Art Tool by Wada right here. I just taped it up to the board just to kind of get it in place. So that's going to keep my background covered. And I'm going to take this stencil. We're just going to position this in. And I need a piece of tape. I'm going to get it into position, because here's the thing. You don't want to try to do this afterwards, because... Let's see if I can do it. Yeah, I really want to have that centered. Oh, yeah, there we go. I want to have kind of the pattern centered right in the mouth and go all the way to the edges. So I'm going to set that right there. Doesn't quite go all the way to the top though. But if I do that, yeah, you won't notice it there when I get it centered. Cool. Let's get it in place. And this, I'm just going to do a light registration. So this is going to be black. So we can actually test it over here. I'm just going to fog like this. I'm going to go a little higher pressure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fog it. And then I'm going to fog each one almost individually. But I'm just going to go around the top to create like a drop shadow effect. Like this. Now obviously if you're doing little honeycombs, this would take forever. But this big one, it'll be a really cool effect. Okay? Let's go there. I'm going to uncap. I'm going to reduce this a little bit more. Reduce with 4011. And let's get started. Hey Ken, what's happening over on Facebook? Kevin McCauley, how's it going? Like I said, the better videos up on YouTube. So what ratio? So I reduced this about, I started with, about 10% because I knew it was running through Micron. And I probably just put another 5 in just to soften it. And it did a nice job. Just so it's not grainy, okay? That nice smooth flow. And you'll see what I'm going to be doing here. Alright, so I'm just going to start with a nice... We're going to do a nice even fog over the whole thing. Okay, so now I'm going to go across the tops only. I'm not going to go in the eyes this time. I really shouldn't have. I really didn't want it in the eyes, but I didn't do too much, and that's the benefit of working soft first. It's easy to kind of catch those mistakes early on. I don't want a lot of the teeth. I don't want a lot in the skull areas. I want it outside the skull areas. Okay? So then I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to kind of do basically upside down U shapes. And try to keep it right in the lower one only. So I want to thank everyone on here who came to the Art Circus last week. It was a really good time. As always, I'm glad when it's over because it is so much work. Within a few days, I could, I could definitely use to do it again because it's just good hanging out with everyone. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up an edge before. There we go. I like that. That's cool. Just enough, not quite established hard enough there. Let's do that. You really want to make sure you're happy with it because whenever you have to line patterns up, again, it's always kind of a pain. So I try to make sure I get it to exactly where I want it right off the bat. Cool. Good. So now I'm going to take that, I'm going to remove the mask. Done. That's it. Good night, guys. Good night, everyone. That's all I wanted to show you. I'm just kidding. So that's how you do a basically honeycomb pattern. You can do it in lots of colors, all things like that. I'm going to go around. I'm going to do a little drop shadow right here on the whole panel itself. And now I'm going to take this time to basically register the skull. And this is what I want to talk about skulls and registering them. Let me try. Pull up another stencil here. Let's see. I'm going to use. So I got another one here. Okay. This is what you don't want to see. Everyone goes in, takes a skull stencil. When they first get them, they're like, oh, skull. Okay. Yes, it's a skull, but it looks very stencily. It looks very stickery. The right way to do it, my feeling, the right way and the best way to use a stencil is so when it's done, you don't know you used a stencil or a template. So you don't want to paint, inside these heavy, where these teeth marks are. You don't want to paint the eyebrows too much. These little lines up here. They're just there for registration. The key is you paint inside the major things like the eye socket. The overspray will get to these little areas. Don't flood them with paint. So basically, you think of your top-down light source coming down, you'll create shadow inside the nose cavity, inside the eye socket, because it's not holes, they're sockets. Okay, and you go softly around the edges. Okay, inside here, and you're thinking about your light source the whole time. And you slowly work it like that. That way you have room to come back in and freehand. So you mean you can start freehand and that stencil look right out of it. And you're going to see how that works out in our whole piece here. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? So I always start with the eyes. Like I said, luckily I didn't spray too much in there because I really don't want to see the hexagon pattern in that eye area. And when I'm done, you really won't. So I'm just going to hit the top of the eye. And what that's going to do, that's going to give me that socket feel. When you look at an actual skull, like this here, the skull looking down, see how you can see the bone actually inside the eye? Because it's a socket. Okay, so, basically like this, it's going like that. You're actually seeing the top of the eye a little bit. You don't want to have it like oversaturated. Okay. So I just hit here a little bit. Inside the nose. And I go around kind of the whole thing. This is also time if you want to kind of define like where the septum is, you can kind of put that in. We're going to use white and do that a lot more later. Okay, there's that eye. Now the mouth, I'm going to use this time to really kind of drop shadow, really push some distance in there. And drop shadow here, really get in there. But notice how I'm just not flooding all over this whole thing. It doesn't even look like the same stencil. Oh, do you mean like this to this? Yeah, so like when you do it like this, it just looks totally different than when you over flood it. Oops, wrong button. Sorry about that. Sorry everyone, my daughter is off tonight, so she had a nice volleyball game today. And so she's beat and tired, so she's got the night off, so it's just me. So see, I'm hitting those bottoms, all the lower sides, so the light source is coming top down and causing a shadow. And that's good. Once you start doing that, that really helps the look of everything. But I'm not going to do too much here, because I'm going to go in, we're going to bring some white in to the skull and really kind of get some highlights put in before. So basically we kind of work from, you know, everyone kind of goes dark to light, and I'm going dark to light, but I kind of go dark, then right to light, and then like kind of like the middle ground. That's where I kind of like to kind of start at the beginning. And we're going to give it, you know, kind of like the first one, we're going to give it some mineral staining and stuff like this coming off the skull. I'm going to try to keep it like within the honeycomb so it looks like it's kind of stuck inside each one. Except this one. This one's going to go right over. Okay. So let's pull this out. Yep, flying solo. Darken that up in there. Let's see what we got. We're going to pull the stencil off and see what we got going on here. I like to go in sometime. The classes, are they expensive? I mean, everything's relative. You know, they're, for what you get, they're cheap as hell. So this class was a 5-day program, so 5 full days, so 40 hours of lessons. I believe it was $750 for the class for the week. So that breaks down to like, was it $125 a day or so of, you know, 8-hour instruction with everything supplied. So yeah, obviously you have travel and things like that. The next class we're doing is going to be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana is the next one we're doing. And that is going to be, I believe, sometime early February or so. I know it's going to be right before Mardi Gras, so we'll be finished right before Mardi Gras. I think that's the plan, but not 100% on that, but that's just what it's looking at now. So see how the skull's in. So we pulled the mask. Blue's got it. So February 2nd through the 6th. Okay, so skull stencil's out. So see how it already looks like a nice, somewhat dimensional skull. It looks like it's floating. It has some dimension, has some depth. And all I've done was just the initial shading. Notice I didn't oversaturate where the teeth are because I want to freehand up in here as much as possible and lose that stencil look. And the bottom of these teeth, I'm going to hit those with some white right now. And that little bump will just kind of look like the edge of the tooth because you're actually seeing the bottoms of the tooth instead of just the face. Okay? So put that here. Let's go to the white. So talk a little about skulls. And it's funny because I was listening to Rob Churchill explain it. So when you look at a skull, So like this would be a skull that's obviously dead, you know, obviously because it's obviously dead. It's a skull, but you know, as bones age, everything kind of evens out. Like the teeth become, you know, bone color, like everything else, pretty much. But when people are alive, your teeth are, you know, they're enamel, they're transparent. You know, so they're translucent. They let light through it. So typically when we paint skulls, just to give them that cool look, we paint the teeth a lot brighter than the rest of the skull, and that basically gives it, you know, just a more sinister feel. They describe it there. Yeah, you know, it's something. Yeah, it's not cheap. You got to save up for it. You know, but they are well worth it. You'll probably come away, any program, whether it's ours or any other one, if you take one of these programs, I would say, and Blue, anyone else could talk about it, years off learning curve of trying to do it yourself on between YouTube videos and everything else. Just because there's someone there when you have an issue to fix it. When your gun's not working right, we can get it running. You know, how to scuff, how to prep, how to do all that stuff. Things we don't often think about during a live feed in 2 hours. When you're there 40 hours together, all those questions get answered. So yeah. Okay. Hey, Brother John, thank you, man. Thanks for welcoming me home. It's good to be back. Because I was in Cratex for a few days, teaching down there, and then came home for 2 days, repacked, and then went out to California. So it's been a busy week and a half. And now I do the live feed. So, we have the other half of the stencil. So you have the positive and negative of each. So what a lot of people don't realize is the outer edge, you have all the others. So you have the top of the nose socket. Hey Shane, how you doing, buddy? Shane is over on Facebook. Get your butt over to the YouTube side, brother, where you get the better feed. So if you notice, this now fits the nose socket. So now I can highlight right with the top of the nose. See how that just made that brighter? I can now flip the template over and do just the bottoms now. Like kind of come from the center and really hit that center. That's starting to brighten up the center. I can come in here and this fits right in for the teeth. See that? So now I can brighten up these bottom edges and come right up the center of these teeth. This is the part we did not do in class because we work on Lumalore. In Lumalore, you don't use white because white turns gray when the light's on. Hey, Michelle! See, you get those teeth a little brighter. So now I got that one. Now I'm going to flip over, come right to here. And now I can do the bottom teeth as well. So for those of you who've never seen this being used before, you probably didn't, unless you read the packaging, which I know most of us don't read packaging, you didn't notice all this was on there. So there's a tooth. Now, you flip over again, you have the eyes. There's the top of the eye. See that right there, right where it says "SAY Ahh." So now I can hit the top of the eyebrow ridge and really kind of define that. This is all just kind of bringing everything up. And then you roll it over, you got the bottom edge. So it's just enough to start it. Like, you can do it now. You can go in and do a lot of the black shading first and then bring this in. But you'll probably kind of back and forth and do both. Just so you can see what's happening. But you can see everything's there, obviously including the main silhouette. And you can get the bottom of the cheek, bottom of the chin, really pop that chin out. Get that forehead bright. See, now it's just starting to come up. And then, just like class, we're going to put the eye in here. Look at that, right there. We'll give it an eye, kind of peeking out. Cool, cool, cool. Half 10 hours from where I'm at. It's cool, man. Hopefully you can make it out to that one. So now, basically now I have my darks are in, my mid-tone lights are in. I'm going to go back in and highlight more later. I'm going to go up here and just kind of put the septum in here right up the middle. Just freehand that. Maybe hit on little items in here so we can kind of see bone. This is a great time, freehand wise. You can kind of blur out some of those stencil lines. Because we're going to go in freehand, later. Just put a little bit in there. And you could also, if we wanted to, this is a good time to put a little texture in. Do a little Gerald Mendez texture effects. And, just put this in all over the place. A little strategic, but just to basically give the bone a little extra texture. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. How's it going, Carl? Oh, if I was living in Texas, everything is 9 hours away. Yep. Okay. Good. All right. Let's get back to that. I got the Stencil out coast. Gonna try this one after the feed. Awesome, Blue. That'll be cool to see. I'm really interested to see how you like. Basically, after coming to the classes, how much faster you'll pick things up. All right, so let's start kind of shadowing things up. So let's talk a little bit about core shadows really quick. Fold this piece over. Okay. Hey, Sean. So let's talk a little bit about core shadowing. You probably all remember just how to, in most airbrush books, which is cylindrical shading. Okay? And then you have sphere, circle shading. You always have secondary light coming down because light source comes down like this. Okay, so whenever you're doing shading, let's talk really brief about airbrush shading 101. This is in every airbrush book that's ever been out. There's a whole ton of videos on it, so I might as well do one here. Basic cylindrical shading. And if you want to look at the best reference, just look right in front of you. Look at the airbrush. See how you got that bright line right across the middle? That's your brightest highlight. Next to that, you have a shadow, which is basically a reflection curving back. And the bottom side is a darker shadow, which is your core shadow, we call it. And then underneath, notice it's not black all the way to the bottom because it's catching secondary light. Look where my hand gets there. Everything underneath is reflecting it. So that white under there is actually being reflected by the paper. Okay, and then you see how the paper there, and then my skin comes in and kind of changes the color. Okay. So, that's cylindrical shading, especially on a metallic object. You want to make it more dense and like looser and softer on like non-metallic items, but you get the gist of it. So, core shadows. That'd be your core shadow. You get really dark towards the bottom. And that's the secondary light coming up. And then just above the core highlight, you can have another secondary shadow, which is kind of the reflection going back. Okay? And that creates a sphere look. On a circle like this, same difference. It's kind of down here. When you're doing rivets and things like that. You want the secondary light because it comes down. If this is the floor, it's bouncing light, and that's why you're getting a light edge. If you have a metal ball in your hand, you'd get that same thing. That's why the shadow doesn't go all the way to the bottom, and then your light source would come down and be like brightest right there, okay? That's where the bright spot would be, and then the shadows fade off that. So that's basic shading. But we're going to do a lot of that in here. The forehead itself is basically like shading a sphere. the cheek, I mean the jawbone right in the middle where your mandibles are, that's cylindrical coming towards you. Okay, so it's a cylinder standing upright. The eyebrows, the cylinders kind of going sideways. So think of them like that. Okay? So that is basic. Like I said, this is basic shading. And obviously we'll make that look like the cylinder goes in. Same thing here. But yeah, so basic cylindrical shading. Basically understand that. Alright, let's go. Okay, so we're going to start by shading kind of pushing this cheekbone away. Let me see if we can zoom in on that upper. Kind of hitting here a little bit for a little bone texture. It kind of look like it rolls in. But see, I'm going to put the shadow right on that edge. See how putting in that edge, it gives you that secondary light? Now it's going to come around this other side. We're going to detail this little crack, and that's going to flip to the bottom of this edge. Okay? And we'll do a little one on top. And we'll just add some little texture in here. And you know what? We're going to give this a crack all the way up. Right to the bottom of this eye here. And let it kind of roll and twist right here. See how just that little bit of airbrushing starts to take the stencil look out of it? Thanks, Carl. I try to prepare as much as I can for these things. Sometimes stuff just happens. I'm going to do this eye. Really dark pupil right there. Let's get the stencil back in here. I want to drop shadow at the bottom of that eye a little bit back. So we're just going to go like this. There we go. See, just that little bit kind of sets it in the background. And now, I'm going to do all the detail in here. I'm just going to do one side, and you'll see. Really set that back. And we will just soften this edge here by putting that coarse shadow right across that as well. And you'll see it just all starts coming together. Made it a little darker. Now we get this eyebrow out. Go right up the center. And that's right where that little mark was, but that's why I didn't spray there a lot. Let me zoom back out here so you can see. That top, that line right there, it's on the stencil, but I didn't, when I blew it in, I didn't put a whole harsh line there. I just left it there enough so I can see it. Now I can shade to it. Now I can do the top of the skull and radius it by putting that shadow towards the back. And just that, there's still a core highlight coming down. That way it'll still be bright towards the center, and I'll be able to highlight it. So a little crack coming up from the nose. Now I'm going to come down. Really really just going to do one whole side of this face. You can really just see the difference between, you know, if you just leave the stencil and then a few minutes of freehanding. Mr. Leahy, you can come and go as you please, my friend. It was awesome seeing you last week before last now. Man, that went quick. Steve happened to be up in my area. So we were able to get together and hang out. It was the first time he'd been up in my studio, so it was awesome to have him up here. I'm going to shadow that jawbone right there, just so it pushes back in the background. Hey, Tony over on Facebook, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. I wish I could give you guys a better view, man. I wish I could really zoom in on it. Just really can't get in there unless I get another camera or change the mount. But if you click over on that YouTube side, you'll get a much better look at this. Okay, let's talk about teeth really quick here. Okay. So, teeth, okay, teeth. We talked about this in class. Don't do this like, I never do teeth like this unless I'm going for that like cartoon look, okay? If the stencil already has, you know, the markings for like where those teeth are, like we do, except these little marks here, and you're kind of marked out here. I come up from that bottom edge like this, and then I radius from that top down, and I kind of blend them together, and then I kind of blend to the next one, and that creates a socket. And then you shade, and you end up getting a much nicer looking tooth. Okay, so I will show you what I mean. So let's go in, let's bring this back up. Let's get nice and tight on these teeth. Let's see if I can move this back into a better place in the frame. Okay, good. So, this is how I handle teeth. I basically start from the bottom edge, okay, where it's already shaded, and I draw a line from here to where that tooth mark is. And I kind of do another one from there up to create the socket. You can go either way, so I'll do these top ones first. Really soft, subtle dagger strokes going up. Starts to create the socket from those center points. See how I just did that? Just really soft and subtle. And it's really just, you know, I'm doing a dagger stroke and I'm kind of preparing, then I'm letting it go. And then from the bottom, I kind of connect up. Shadow that back down. Now that I have those in place, see, it's already starting to come along. Yeah, dagger strokes, man, that's the key. You got to practice it. It's like playing the piano. You got to practice the basics. Now I'm going to radius down. Kind of come back up from there. I'm going to have to get this nose in there now. So it's all balanced out. Little dagger strokes coming up. And you just slowly going. I got a little heavy here, but I can soften that up with some white and some little details. Now remember, these teeth in the back, these are going to be much darker because they're technically underneath the jaw. So I can actually start toning these back a little bit and letting the front be brighter. Okay? bottoms. We'll do the same thing on the bottoms. When you zoom out, it looks a lot cleaner. Like I said, a little heavy on this one. But that's not a big deal. I'm just going to get rid of that by toning over some white, and we'll make it all go away at the end. So no stress. So basically, anticipating where the shadows will be. Yeah, basically. That's basically the gist of it. Come down from these. And if you're having trouble freehanding this stuff, use a brush. Darken those in the back. Just tone that back into there. I don't need you anymore. Well, the Airbrush workstation's finally getting its first round of paint on it. Dell from Visionaire, look at that. It's no longer new and clean. Just got some paint on it. Oh, the other nice thing about this board, and you know, I'm using a thick panel here with PVC, so the magnets won't really work on this. But if I use a regular aluminum panel or illustration board, you know, magnets stick to everything, which is really great for holding stencils. It does stick through, but if I use a stronger magnet, I'm going to get some earth magnets, and that'll actually hold. You know, if I put something like this on it, it'll hold it better, but it will hold it, so it's really cool. Let's see if I can tone these back here. They're both darker. Let's make those shadows a little bit heavier and push that mouth. See, just by darkening that, it brought the jaw way more forward. We'll do some more staining coming down. Really look cool, like it's screaming. And now we're going to repeat everything on this side. Eye socket, I'm not going to put another eye in there. So let's look at a skull here. So look at a skull and see there's some little bone inside. Look, almost lost it. If I didn't, we saved them. So see how there is, where is it? See that bone inside, that little bony material? How you can see it? I'm going to put a little bit of that in here. And that way when I shade it, it's just all in there. Eyebrows come up. We'll shade that some more. Sorry guys on Facebook, I wish I could get a better angle for you. I'm going to work on that. You know, it's hard to do both feeds at high quality unless I got to pay a service, and not really up for that. Oops. Just going to shadow that away. Foreshadow on that head a little bit more. And just keep toning it. So I'm going to go back in with white here and really bring some things out at the end. And tone some things out. Yeah, I broke the jar off. No big deal. It just pops in and off, on and off easy. Let's tone that out. foreshadow that lower as well. Define them lower sockets some more. Let's get these upper ones in. Another crack in that eye. Let's foreshadow right here. And then the bottom side here. And just go subtle with it. Okay, let's zoom back out. We've got that kind of nice mid-tone set up right now. Good. Let's see, Carl, new question. How do you get over the fear of starting the freehand work? And bring the whole thing up. You just have to do it, man. I'm sorry, there's no shortcut. It's like playing guitar. You know, how do you go from, like, you know, just doing, like, string picking to, you know, do everything freehand, like, just to really be able to go fast? It's just practice, and you'll get confidence. And notice I do a lot of movement before I freehand, and just kind of putting that muscle memory up before I do the lines. Like when I do teeth like this. But it just becomes second nature, you know, just like writing. You know, if I was going to say hi to Steve, yeah, I can just write Steve. You know, it just becomes second nature. So just practice. So, hour or two a day, just like playing drums, guitar, everything else. So I'm just going to keep this one simple. Alright, so we got you in here. We got that toned out. I'm going to really push back here. Alright. Have some of that little staining gathering on the edge of these honeycombs. Just so it looks a little cooler. A little dark in the edge up here. So keep staying tuned. This, like a lot of my panels, this will be available for auction once it's at the last feed. We've got 3 more sections to do. Okay, so let's go into some highlights, because right now it's looking a little cartoony, but still cool. I want to really start bringing in, oh, you know what I want to do first, though? I want to add in some more texture. Like that, just in the bottom. Okay. Nope, nothing tonight. Alright, so let's get these teeth right. These ones in the middle. Come off the bottom. Just kind of brighten up the sockets right out of the teeth. I don't know if you can see them too well. Let's see if we can see it better on top. You know, I'm going to make this a little bit more opaque. Kind of the little paintings here is great. This is the opaque white. I'm just going to go a little stronger with it. Shake this up. Make sure it sprays. highlight that eye a little bit. There we go. Make it a little bit brighter. Let's highlight that. Yeah, see how it's just softening everything up? Look at that forehead. And it just starts to get rid of that, you know, flat look of just the black. Highlight there, come right up that nose, right up the center. I'm going to drop the pressure down a bit more. So we get less blowouts. We're really going to brighten up this cheek. And just start getting it radiused out. Make the eyeball look a little whiter. Just going around all the areas and basically above all those shadows. Getting everything nice and bright. Hitting those sockets there. I'm going to tone down these. You just brighten that up and kind of get rid of that dark edge that was there. We'll highlight the bottoms of these teeth. Just slowly work it to the point where I'm happy with the tone. Get that chin in, brighten up that jawbone. And just kind of keep it simple. Like I said, this is, so the cool thing about, what I always love about skulls, is I can work on it for this much time. I can put another hour into the skull and do immense amounts of little details. I can put 5 more minutes into it. Really endless what you want to do, how much back and forth, how many little like textures, and maybe you want to put a lot of just like grit going on. There's so many artists that have their own take. Like if I gave this stencil to an artist like Rod Fuchs or Fido or something like that, they would take it to their level, you know what I mean? They would add their favorite details. I might use it as a guide, and then by the time it's done, it's going to be unrecognizably, it'll be recognizably theirs. If I gave it to Steve Leahy, he will put his look to it. That's what I always love about doing these, is you can really take it to wherever you want to go. As much detail as you want, or simplified as you want. Just core highlights and core shadows. Yeah, let's kind of want to take this off and kind of show it with the rest of the pieces. You can see how they're all starting to tone in about the same way. I'm going to move this over. Let's see if we can move the camera just a hair. So there we go. So you got three of the 6 skulls. I don't even know how long that took. I don't even have my daughter here to give me a time check. So I don't even know what time it is right now. Who's got the time? And I just realized everyone's going to give me their time, which is probably not going to be my time. Is it our time? If I'm here and you're here. Central Standard. Okay, so it's 9 here. I think. Yeah. Yeah. So this has all been done. 11:07. Thanks, Steve. So see, I'm just slowly working this in. And work that back. Like it's a little gritty down here. I'm going to tone this back out. With the white. Get them teeth a little whiter. And then I'm going to go back in. In next video, I got another really cool device to show you. I'm going to give you a nice little rundown on my other big airbrush holder. I'll show you that later. Another feed. Bring that stencil back in here. The actual skull itself. If I can find where I put him. I don't know where the skull itself went. Okay, so I had 2 skull stencils, now I have none. That's kind of par for the course with me sometimes. Alright, I'm just going to do it freehand. I'm going to darken up in here. Push that nose way back. Little extra details in here. Yeah, Max, you're totally right. You know, walking away is kind of the best thing. We'll push that right back into the background as well. And really just keep pushing it. Look, we'll do a little drool coming down here. There we go. Well, for those coming to SEMA, which I know is not as many as usual, I will be doing demos on plotter use and masking with FBS over at their booth. And I will be doing make and take and some demo examples over at Iwata at their booth. And I think I might visit Trulers and do a little something for them. And just kind of make my way around to whoever's there and some of the supporters. So if you're at SEMA, come by and visit. Or hit me up. I'll give you my schedule where I'm going to be. Cool, cool, cool. I think this is going to about wrap it up for another Airbrush Down and Dirty Tricks feed on the pack of skulls. Halfway through the set. After that, we will go over a full one on pocket graphics. I'll do a bunch with that. I know I brought them into this one from now, here and there, but I'm going to do some more videos just on that. Yeah, so I have UVLS. So this is a little paint holder. You can buy these in 6s, and they can all stack, so you can have a whole bunch of them in a row. See if I can kind of get a better shot of that. See, it hangs up here. There's 6 of them. I'll show some more of that down the road. Oops. That just did the wrong thing. So let's just go to that one. Trying some things out. Okay, so there will not be a feed next week. Next Thursday is my 20th wedding anniversary to Crystal, to my wife, my beautiful wife. And so I would not be doing a live feed on my 20th wedding anniversary, or the week for that matter, because that is about us. So I will do a feed after that. Would be the 23rd, I think, something like that. So there'll be no feed next week. And so I'm going to wrap this up right now. I'm going to go sit down with my family and we're going to watch Squid Games. If you haven't watched that, it's an awesome show. And just keep on working. Whoops. I don't know what happened to camera 1, just went all screwy. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. There we go. The line's a little up there, but the autofocus is messing up. I'm going to edit that out for sure. So, it is what it is. Let's go back here. And that is all she wrote. We're going to try to zoom in on that. There we go. That's better. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties when working alone. So there we go. There is Pack of Skulls. Say Ah. Done about an hour. Yeah, it was just being weird. So, a little over an hour to take care of this. And we'll have to do some serious edits with that. But you all saw it happen live. And then when the other one comes out, you won't notice all these little things like that. But, yep. When you're managing multiple cameras, and sometimes it's a little hard to do on your own, and go from there. Well, anyway, so hope you guys enjoyed this feed. Hope you enjoyed the overall look of this piece and how it ended up. Hope you learned a few things. Like, yeah, Merman's been drinking tonight. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we're back in line. So, here's a finished product. We got the skull. Say Ah. Goes with the whole lineup of all the other ones we've already done. It looks really cool. I'm going to enjoy some time off, and I will see you when I get back. Make sure you share this, tell all of your friends, check it out. Let me know some more stuff you want to see. And yeah, let's get some more subscribers. Make sure you subscribe and get notifications. And so when I do more of these, you get notified. A lot more coming now that some other things are settled out. And once we get after SEMA, got a whole mess of stuff planned for you all. So, I would like to thank everyone for coming up. coming to the show. Enjoy the week. Enjoy next week. I will see you all next time. Have a good one. That's another Down and Dirty Tricks. Pack of Skulls. Say ah. Have an awesome night, everyone. Bye.